is not just a location. It is a place to be. Ebenezer is not just an acronym to mention about. Ebenezer is not just a location to think of. Ebenezer is not just where to be, but Ebenezer is the locator. You can't talk about a location when you have not talked about the locator. Ebenezer, therefore, is not just a job you have. Ebenezer is the one who gave you that job. Ebenezer is not just a marriage you have, Pastor Tin and my elder. It is all about God who put you in that marriage. Ebenezer is not just a car you drive. Ebenezer is he who gave you that car. Ebenezer is not a service we render as a pastor, as a church elder. Ebenezer is he who called you in his service. Come with me very fast to understand that the Jews camped just besides Ebenezer. Many of us are camping besides our marriages. We are in, but besides. Some of us are in church, but besides the church. We are as if we are at church, but just what? Besides the church. Some of us are in God's service, but besides God's service. When it calls for a full-time service, when it calls for an extra mile of service, we are besides. And we say, let pastors go and do. We are besides. Now, this is what happens. When the Philistines came, whenever you are just besides Ebenezer, you cannot defeat any battle in life. And the Jews thought, since they have this covenant box, you know God was patient. He was always inside this box. They come in the morning, hello God, good morning, yeah. They come in the evening, good evening, sir. Yes, I am present. And when they thought keeping the covenant box was okay, these Philistines came and killed them with their covenant box. Now come with me. Keeping the covenant ark. When the covenant ark is not keeping you. Now let me come again. You keeping the covenant box. When it is not keeping you, the enemy can kill you with it. And it's no surprise that when the Philistines strike the second time, they even took the covenant box. They took it. And we are happy they have defeated the Jews. But as the Jews were crying and lamenting and thinking that they have been finished, God was in the temple of Dagon doing miracles. When you see a Christian suffering, a Christian crying, we are all going through tough challenges. Talk about businesses. COVID-19 has hit everyone. Even these bankers. This thing of this pandemic has hit every section, every ministry, every area in our life. And 2012 has been a challenging year for each one of us, including us pastors. Pastoring hungry people is not simple. Pastoring people who are used to being in their beds and tune in to Zoom. And you want them in church. When they have been assured that when you shall be 2 or 3 gathered for me, I will be where? In your midst. It's not a simple thing. Pastoring people who are under pressure of work and delivering at their places of work is not what? Simple. And so you do in your various areas of service. When you are besides Ebenezer, be sure that the enemy will defeat you. But I want to assure you, as Seventh-day Adventists, we have a God that even when we look helpless, he is somewhere working on our behalf. When the Jews were crying because of the defeat of their enemies, Dagon was hosted with Yahweh in the same temple. And in the morning, they found the hands of Dagon down. Now they say these Jews are very clever people. They came in the night and cut off Dagon's hands. They put them on. In the morning, now this whole part the legs, the waist, the stomach of Dagon was where? Was down. We have a God who is not fighting with us. That's why you do not see him fighting physically. But we have a God who deals with our enemies, with our challenges when we are not there. You do not need to see God physically because the enemies need to see him physically. I repeat, you don't need to see God physically because he has no problem with you. But your enemies have to see him physically because he has something to do with them. And when one morning came, the Philistines said, we can no longer be with your God. Please take your God. And then Samuel said, today we must see the hand of the Lord. Now the Philistines came the second time to come and attack. Let me tell you, the devil will always come the second time. If you got pregnant, you will be pregnant the second time. The devil will always come the second time. If you thought your boy or your daughter was already taking alcohol, the second time you will begin taking opium. The devil will always visit the what? The second time. So as the Israelites remembered that, oh, we have a priest called Samuel. Amongst all these challenges, they had forgotten that they have a priest called Samuel. So they ran to Samuel and tell him, the Philistines are on the way. You can see them. They are coming the second time to kill us in double portion. Samuel ran. The word is he ran. He offered the sacrifice to God without even slaughtering it. He forgot that for you to offer a sacrifice, you have to do what? To slaughter it. He got a lamb with all its intestines and the head with no time to slaughter. He offered the sacrifice. And as the Philistines drew